It's the AQA GCSE Maths Foundation Calculator Paper 3 from November 2023. Let's get straight into it. Question 1, work out 10% of 170. 10% is the same as 1/10, so we're just dividing by 10. 170 divided by 10, zeros cancel out, that just leaves you with 17. Question 2, write down the value of the digit 7 in 34,728. So this 7 is in the hundreds column, so you would write 700. Question 3, write down the name of a triangle with 3 equal sides. That would be an equilateral triangle. Equal, and that's equal. That's one way that you can remember it. Part B, write down the name for the straight line inside this circle. So this line is going from one edge of the circle to another edge of the circle, and it's not going through the center. So if it was going through the center, it'd be a diameter, but it's not, so that means it's a chord. Question 4, write down all the factors of 45. So I always start with 1, and 1 would pair with 45. 2 doesn't go in because it's not even. 3 does go in because 4 add 5 gives you 9, and that's a multiple of 3. So 3 times by, and it would be 15. 4 doesn't go in because 2 doesn't go in. 5 does go in because it ends in a 5. It would be 5 times by 9. 6 doesn't go in because if I double this and I half this, that would become 7.5, so that would work. 7 doesn't go in because it's 49 and 42. 8 doesn't go in, and 9 does go in. And because we already have 9, that's a duplicate, that means we've finished. So you can leave your answer like this, or you could just write it nicely for the examiner: 1, 3, 5, 9, 15, and 45. Question 5. D is equal to g squared minus 2 lots of h. Work out the value of d when g equals 15 and h equals 63. So we're just substituting both of these in here. So whenever I see g, I'm going to swap it with the 15, and whenever I see h, I'm going to swap it with the 63. So d is equal to g squared is 15 squared, minus 2 lots of h, so 2 lots of 63. So 2 times by 63. 15 squared is the same as 225. 2 lots of 63 is 126, and that is 225 minus 126, which is 99. Part B, rearrange m equals n plus k to make n the subject. So I'm trying to make this n equal to something. Right now, m is the subject. So the thing that's happening to the n is we're adding k, so we need to undo that. We need to take away k from both sides. So I'm going to do m minus k is equal to n. So n is equal to that m minus k. Question 6. Here is a right angled triangle on a centimeter grid. Write down the coordinates of the midpoint of the longest side. So one way you could do this, you could use your ruler, just measure how long it is and find where the middle is. Another way you could do it is I can see that this is at 1, 5. So the middle of those two is at 3. So I'm just finding where that would be. So that would be at 5, 3. Part B, work out the area of the triangle. So to work out areas of triangle, we do base times by height, and we divide that by 2. The base here is 1 to 9, so that's a difference of 8. And the height is 1 to 5, so that's a height of 4. So we're doing 8 multiplied by 4, divide that by 2. Instead of doing that, you can just do 8 times by 2. I just divided that by 2. So 8 times 2 is 16. Question 7, the total cost of broadband for 5 months is £99.20. So 5 months is equal to £99.20. At the same monthly rate, work out the total cost of broadband for 2 years. So 2 years is the same as 24 months because we know that in each year there's going to be 12 months. So we're trying to find what 24 months are. And it's saying it's at the same monthly rate. So we've worked out 5 months. We want to work out 1 month. This is a unitary method. So that means we're just finding 1, and then we're going to scale it up. So we need to, on the left hand side, divide by 5 to get from 5 to 1, and then we need to multiply by 24 to get from 1 to 24. So I'm doing 99.2 divided by 5, which is 19.84. And then I multiply that by 24, which gives me 476.16. Question 8. Here is a cuboid. Work out the volume of the cuboid. Give your answer to 1 decimal place. So to work out a volume of a cuboid, all I need to do is multiply the length by the width by the height. So I'm multiplying these 3 numbers by each other. So 3.8 multiplied by 6.75 times 2.7. 3.8 times 6.75 times 2.7, 69.255. I need to round it to 1 decimal place, so I look for my decimal point and I count 1 after it, and this 5 is telling me whether I'm rounding up or down. If it's 5 or above, I give this one a shove. If it's 4 or below, I let it go. So this one is going to get a shove up to 69.3. And then units for that, because it's a volume, is centimeters cubed. Question 9. Nikki asked 30 people to name their favorite crisp flavor. Here are the results. Nikki drew this pictogram to represent the results. What two mistakes has Nikki made? We're trying to find two mistakes here. The first thing that I can find an issue with is that there's no key, so no key has been provided. But let's just assume that if we did have a key, and we assume that this circle that's split up into 4 equal parts, we'll call that 4 people. In this first one, we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, so that's fine. And if we compare it to that, it's the same as that. So 4 and 7, that would be the same as that. 4 and 1, that's the same as above, 5. And this one would be 4, but here it's 2. So that means it's an inconsistent key. So the key is inconsistent. E.g., prawn cocktail, it should be 2. So you could just draw it like that. Question 10. Sanjit buys 1.75 kilos of potatoes and 4 kilograms of leeks. Let's just convert that into 1.75 kilos of potatoes plus 4 kilos of leeks. I've just converted that bit into an expression. The total cost is £9.03. So now we've made it equal to something. That's an equation now. The potatoes cost 84p per kilo. Work out the cost per kilo of the leeks. So we know what the cost of the potatoes are. We're trying to find out this value here. We know that potatoes are equal to 84p. So I'm going to write it as 0.84 because it's in pence. I just needed to divide it by 100. So I'm going to substitute this into here and then I'll solve to find this L. So 1.75 multiplied by 0.84 plus 4L is equal to 9.03. So 1.75 times 0.84 is 1.47. 1.47 plus 4L is equal to 9.03. So the L is being multiplied by this 4 and then we're adding 1.47. So we need to take away this 1.47 first and then we'll divide by the 4. So take away 1.47 from there. That's 7.56 is equal to 4L. Just need to divide both sides by 4 and then we get what L is. So divide this answer by 4, which is 1.89. So the leeks are £1.89 per kilo. And the way you can check this, you can substitute both of these into this first one and it should give you £9.03. Question 11. Simplify fully 2x plus 9y plus 1 plus 8x minus 5y minus 7. So whenever you're collecting like terms, you're looking for the same variable or the same letter and you're looking for the same power. So luckily, we're just comparing variables and constants here. So that means we're going to collect up all of the x's together. We're going to collect up all of the y's together and all of the numbers that are on their own. So the 2x and the 8x will collect up. So I've got 2 lots of x plus 8 lots of x. That's 10x. So that's those two done. Then I've got 9y and it's negative 5y, or I'm taking away 5y. So plus 9y, take away 5y. 9 take away 5 is 4, so it's plus 4y. Then the last thing that I need to do is these constants. So this plus 1, minus 7. 1 take away 7 is minus 6. So minus 6. I can't collect anything else up here, so I just leave it like that. That would be my final answer. Part B, circle the expression that is equivalent to 0.5a squared. So I can see all of these are in fractions apart from this first one. I don't think it's going to be that first one. 0.5 is the same as 1/2. So I could write it as 1/2 a squared. But I can't see that here. So 1/2 a squared is the same as 1/2 multiplied by a squared. So I can bring this a squared over to my numerator. I've just multiplied both of these together. So that's the same as a squared over 2, which would be that one. Question 12. Here are the subjects available in year 12 at school. So we've got all of these subjects available. Students choose 3 subjects and they cannot choose more than 1 subject from a block. So that means if they choose maths, they can't choose history or French. They can only choose 1 from each block. Liam decides to study maths. So that means he's definitely studying maths and he's not studying those 2. Not to study geography, chemistry, physics, or IT. So let's cross those out. So geography, chemistry, physics, or IT. So that means he's either going to study drama or English. By listing, show that there are 7 groups of 3 subjects that Liam could choose. So let's first do maths for all of them because we know that's a guarantee. And then he's going to have either drama or English. Let's just do drama and English together first. And then we could have drama with Spanish, drama with biology, and drama with art. So that's the drama one's done. Now we need to do the same thing with English. So it'd be English, Spanish, English, biology, and English art. So it'd be E, S, E, B, and E, A. That's all 7 combinations. Question 13. There are 1,400 students at college. A student is chosen at random. The probability that student is taking a GCSE resit is 0.09. How many of the students are taking a GCSE resit? All this is testing us on is our expected outcome is equal to the probability multiplied by the number of trials. So we know what the probability is, it's 0.09, and the number of trials here is the amount of students that we have, it's 1,400. That's going to tell us how many students are taking this resit. 1,400 times by 0.09, which is 126. Part B, the probability that the student is studying A-levels is 0.67 and core maths is 0.48. Show that some students are studying A-levels and core maths. So one way to do this is if we add up both of these numbers, we have 0.67 plus 0.48. It's going to give us an answer larger than 1. So 0.67 add 0.48 gives 1.15. And you would have to say that this is greater than 1. And it's not possible to have a probability greater than 1, so that means there must be some overlap. Therefore, some students will be studying both. Another way you could do this is work out the amount of students that are studying A-levels, the amount of students that are working core maths, and you'll see that it would be a total greater than 1,400. That could be another way that you could do it as well. Question 14. Des delivers takeaways to houses A, B, and C. And we've got this diagram here that represents what he's doing. Des drives from T to A and back. So he's going T to A, and then he's going A to T, and then from T to B, and B to C, and then C to T. So these are all of the journeys that he's going on. Des is paid 40p for each mile he drives. So we're going to have to do 0.4 multiplied by the miles. And we're going to have to do £1.35 for each house he delivers to. So £1.35 times the number of houses. So we'll have to find that out. How much is Des paid in total for his work? Let's find out all of these journeys first. From T to A is 0.6, but if we look at the scale is 1 centimeter to 3 miles. So we're going to have to multiply all of these by 3. So before I start working out each distance, I'm going to multiply all of these by 3. That would be 1.8, that would be 5.1, that would be 2.4, and that's 3.9. So from T to A is 1.8, A to T is 1.8 again, T to B is 0.9, B to C is 2.4, and then C to T is 5.1. Just need to add up all of these. So our total is 5.1 add 2.4 add 3.9 add 1.8 add 1.8, and that gives us a total of 15. So altogether Des is driving 15 miles. So we're doing 0.4 multiplied by 15, which is 6. So that means he's getting paid £6 for the amount of miles, and we need to figure out how many houses that he's visiting. So really he's only going to house A, house B, and house C. So there's 3 houses. So it's 1.35 multiplied by 3, which is 4.05. All we need to do now is just add up these two numbers, 6 and 4.05. 6 had 4 is 10, so it'd be £10 and 5p. Question 15, here are 2 number machines. So for this first one, we've got an input of 30. It's divided by 6, so it becomes 5. 30 divided by 6 is 5. 5 add 18 is 23. For the next one, we've got 30 times 3, which is 90. And 90 minus A is 90 minus A. You can't do anything with that. The outputs are the same, so work out the value of A. So this is saying that this is equal to that. I'm just going to create an equation. I've got 90 minus A is equal to 23. So when you have something minus, all you can do here is swap this one with this one. So I've got 90 minus 23 is equal to A. 90 minus 23 is 67. So 67 is equal to A. And if you sub that in, you should get 23. 90 take away 67 does give you 23. Question 16, which is closer in value to 2.5? I've got 3/4 and 4 1/5. So both of these are in fractions. I want to change them so that they're decimals. I can just type them both into my calculator and it would tell me what it is, but I know both of these. 3/4 is the same as 0.75, and 4 1/5. The 1/5 is 0.2, so 4 1/5 is the same as 4.2. Now all I need to do is figure out which one is closer. If I think about my number line, I've got 2.5 here, I've got 0.75 on this side, and I've got 4.2 on this side. So for me to get from there to there, I'm adding 1.7. 4.2 take away 2.5 is 1.7. And if I do 2.5 take away 0.75, that gives me plus 1.75. So the smaller of those two numbers is 1.7. And that's telling me that the 4.2 is closer to 2.5 than 0.75. So you could just write 1.7 is smaller than 1.75. Question 17. A computer game has 5 levels. Each level has a maximum number of points. These maximum numbers form an arithmetic progression. This just means that it's going up or down by the same amount every single time. The table shows the numbers for the first 3 levels. So it's 400, 750, so we've added 350 there. From 750 to 1100, we've added 350 again. So let's do the rest. 1450, and that'd be 1800. Your score is the total of the points you achieve in each of the 5 levels. Isaac's best score is 1,250 points less than the highest possible score. Work out his best score. So this is saying your score is added up with all of these, whatever you get in each level. And Isaac got 1,250 less than the best possible score that you can get. So we're going to need to find the total score, the maximum possible total score that you can get, and then we're going to take away 1,250. So it's 1,800 plus 1,450 plus 1,100 plus 750 plus 400, which is 5,500. We know Isaac gets less than that, 1,250 less, so 5,500 minus 1,250, that'd be 4,250. That's his score. Question 16. A walking group has 210 members. One week, the group organized a walk on Wednesday and a walk on Saturday. The frequency tree shows how many members went on the walks. Show the information on the Venn diagram. So we've got W, which is the members who went on the Wednesday walk, and S, which is the members who went on the Saturday walk. So all we're doing here, we're interpreting this frequency tree, and we're trying to figure out which numbers goes where. So the easiest one to do, I think, is the one in the middle to start off with. The ones in the middle are the ones that went on Wednesday and on Saturday. So that would be yes and yes. That would be those people. That's the middle number. That'd be 53. Then the next one I'm going to do is this one on the outside. This one is going to be everyone that didn't do any walk on Wednesday or Saturday. So it would be no and no. So this 64 is the people that will be on the outside. 64 goes there. Now what we need to do is find the people who went on only Wednesday and only on Saturday. So for Wednesday, if they said yes here and no here, that's the people that went on only Wednesday. So 25 goes there, and I'm going to do the same thing with Saturday. If they said no here and yes here, that means they only went on Saturday, so that'd be 68. The way that you can check this, if you add up all of these numbers, so 25, add 53, add 68, add 64, it should give you 210, and it does, so that means it's true, it's correct. Question 19, the length of a line is 8 centimeters to the nearest centimeter. Complete the error interval. So all we need to do here is find the error interval, and that is the original number plus and minus the limit of accuracy, and that's divided by 2. Here the original number is 8, and we're plussing and minusing the limit of accuracy. The limit of accuracy here is to the nearest centimeter. That's to the nearest unit. So that'd be 1 divided by 2. So we're doing 8 take away a half, and we're doing 8 plus a half. 8 take away a half is 7.5, and 8 plus a half is 8.5. It would be greater than or equal to 7.5, and it would be less than 8.5. Question 20. Which of these is an estimate? Tick one box. The lowest value of ungrouped data. If it's ungrouped and you know the lowest value, you would know that one, so it's not going to be an estimate. The range of ungrouped data. So if it's the range, it's the largest, take away the smallest, but you know both values because it's ungrouped, so that would be it. The modal class of group data. So you would be able to see which is the most popular group, so that wouldn't be an estimate either. The mean of group data. So when you work out mean, you actually find the midpoint of the two values in the box. So that means you're guessing what they are. So that would be an estimate. Question 21. Carly's total annual pay equals salary and bonus. Work out the percentage change in her total annual pay. State whether it's an increase or a decrease. So let's first figure out how much she earned last year. So last year she earned 26,000 plus 4,000. Last year was 26 plus 4 is 30, so it'd be 30,000 altogether. Now we need to figure out how much she earned this year. So we're going to be doing 26,000 with a 6% increase. So to do this easily, we're going to take our original number, and then we'll multiply it by a decimal multiplier. For this first one, because it's a 6% increase, we start off with 1 plus, and 6% as a decimal is 0.06. So for that first one, I'm going to multiply it by 1.06. For the next one, I've got a 9% decrease. So I'm doing 1 minus because it's a decrease, and 9% as a decimal is 0.09. 1 minus 0.09 is 0.91. So I'd multiply that one by 0.91. So for this year, I'm doing 26,000 multiplied by 1.06. And then I'm adding on 4,000 multiplied by 0.91. So 26,000 times 1.06, which is 27,560, plus 4,000 times 0.91, which is 3,640. Add up both of these. So 27,560, which is a total of 31,200. So now we have our total for this year and we have our total for last year. But we need to figure out the percentage change. So percentage change is worked out by the change divided by the original, and then we multiply that by 100. So the change here is this year's minus last year's, 31,200 minus 30,000. And the original is what we started off with, that was 30,000. This bit on the top would simplify to 1,200. So I've got 1,200 divided by 30,000, and that's 0.04. We need to multiply that by 100, and that gives me an answer of 4%. So the answer is 4%, but we need to decide whether it's an increase or a decrease. So it's gone up from 30,000 to 31,200, so that means it's an increase. Question 22. The first two cube numbers are 1 and 8. So 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Show that the third cube number can be written as the sum of 3 different prime numbers. What's the third cube number? So that would be 3 cubed. 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. So we're trying to say 27 is equal to 3 different prime numbers added up together. What are our first prime numbers? Prime numbers are just numbers which have 2 unique factors. The first one is going to be 2, then it's 3, 5, 7, 9 is at 1, 11, 13, 15 is at 1, and 17. I'll stop there. I'll choose 17 to start off with, and I've got 27, take away 17, which is 10. So can I make 10 with 2 of these numbers? I could do 7 and I can do 3. There's a few other different ways that you can do that, but this is just one of them. Question 23, use trig to work out the size of angle W. So first, let's label up our sides. I've got the side opposite the right angle, which is the hypotenuse, the side opposite the angle, which is opposite, and the side that's remaining is adjacent. I'm going to be using SOHCAHTOA. Just need to figure out which one we're using. Because we've got an angle, we look for the 2 sides that we have, and we've got H and we've got A. So which of these have H and A? That'd be cos. So we're doing cos of W. That's what we're trying to find out, is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So it'd be 6.7 over 8.3. 6.7 over 8.3. Now I need to move this cos to the other side so I can get W on its own, and I'm trying to work out an angle. So W is equal to inverse cos of 6.7 over 8.3. So type this in. So we've got shift cos, and it's 6.7 over 8.3. That's equal to 36.173. 36.1739. I'll round that to 1 decimal place, so it's 36.2, and it'd be an angle, so it'd be in degrees. So 36.2. Question 24. 2 bags contain only green discs and yellow discs. So we have green and yellow. Bag A contains 1 green disc and 4 yellow discs. So it's 1 to 4. Bag B contains 3 green discs and 7 yellow discs. So it's 3 to 7. 1 disc is picked at random from each bag. Complete the tree diagram with the correct probabilities. So here it's telling us 1 disc is picked at random from each bag. So the first one is separate to the second one. Let's first find out how many total discs there are in each bag. 1 add 4 is 5, and 3 add 7 is 10. For this first green pick, we've got 1 out of 5, so it'd be 1/5. And for the yellows, it'd be 4 out of 5. And you can see that both of these add up to make 1. So that's a quick check that you can do. Both of these should always add up to make 1. These should add up to make 1, and these should add up to make 1. For bag B, we've got 3 out of 10 for green. And it'd be the same for this one, 3 out of 10. And that one is 7 out of 10. And you can see they add up to 1, they add up to 1. Part B, work out the probability that both discs are green. So we're trying to find green, and then we're trying to find green again. So to find the probability of multiple events, we just multiply them together. We're finding probability of green and then green again, which is equal to 1/5 multiplied by 3/10. So 1/5 times by 3/10. Multiply 1 by 3, which is 3, 5 by 10, which is 50, 3/50. Question 25. Solve these simultaneous equations. I've got 7x plus 2y equals 100 and 3x plus 2y equals 48. When you're doing these, you're looking for a matching coefficient of either the x's or the y's. You're just looking for one of the variables to have the same number. It doesn't matter about the sign. Here I can see I've got a 2 before the y and I've got a 2 before the y. And because they're both being added, we can take them away from each other, and that would remove them. So I'm going to take this equation away from this equation. So I'm doing all of the bottom, I'm taking it away from all of the top. 7x take away 3x gives me 4x, and 2y take away 2y, that would cancel out. That leaves me with 100 take away 48, which is 52. X is being multiplied by 4, so I divide by 4. Just need to half it twice. Half of 52 is 26, half of 26 is 13. So we know what x is, it's 13. I now need to substitute this into the easiest equation, so I'm going to choose that one because it's got smaller numbers. So I've got 3x plus 2y equals 48. Substituting the x in, because we know what it is, it's 13. 3 times by 13 plus 2y equals 48. 3 times 13 is 39, plus 2y is 48. Y is being multiplied by 2 and then adding 39, so we take away the 39 first. It's 2y equals 48, take away 39, which is 9, and then y is being multiplied by 2, so we divide by 2 on both sides. Y is equal to 9 over 2, or it's 4.5. So x is equal to 13, and y is equal to 9 over 2. Question 26. An open cardboard cylinder has a radius 1.9 centimeters, that's there, and the height of 10.2 centimeters. Harry assumes that the net of the cylinder is a rectangle with length centimeters. So he's just saying if I unwrap this curved bit, it's going to be a rectangle, which makes sense. Work out the area of this rectangle. So we have the height of it, which is the height of that cylinder. We need to find out what this curved part was here, that bit here. So that's the circumference of the circle. So we're going to have to work out circumference of that circle. So cherry, pie, delicious, circumference equals pi times diameter. And the radius here is 1.9. So because the radius is 1.9, the diameter is always double the radius. So if I double 1.9, 1.9 times 2 gives me 3.8. So I now know what the diameter is, 3.8. If I substitute it into here, I get 3.8 pi. That's the circumference, that's the perimeter around the edge of that circle. So it's 3.8 pi. We want the area of the rectangle, so we just do base times by height. So it's 3.8 pi multiplied by 10.2, which is 121.768. 121.768. And that would be in centimeter squared. So I did 3.8 pi times 10.2 for that one. In fact, the net is a parallelogram, not a rectangle. What does this mean about the area of the net? Tick one box. So we need to just think we've got the same height and we've got the same length. And how do you work out areas of parallelograms? Parallelograms is just base times height, just like the same as a rectangle. So the area is not actually going to change because you've still got the same height and you've still got the same length. So it's going to be equal to the area of the rectangle. Part C, what does this mean about the perimeter of the net? So this is saying, what about the distance around the edge of that net? Will that be different? So I know the height is 10.2, but this time I've got a diagonal. So one way you could think about it is if I draw a right angle triangle, I've got a right angle triangle here, and this side will be the longest side, so it's going to be longer than 10.2. So that means the perimeter is going to increase. It's going to be more than the perimeter of the rectangle. Question 27. AF, BC, DE, and DF are straight lines. BC and DE are parallel. So BC and DE are parallel, and we've got this line AF that's going through them. P is 3 times of R. P is 3 lots of R, so I'm just going to write that as 3R, because that might be useful later. Work out the size of angle P, and that's what we're trying to find. We're trying to find the size of that angle. What angles could we find first? I can see I've got this 72, so the angle opposite to it, vertically opposite to it, is also going to be 72. And I can see if I put my head on my left shoulder, I've got corresponding angles because I've got an F shape here. That's telling me that this angle will also be 72. And now I've got a triangle here, and I know all angles in a triangle add up to 180. So I can create an equation using all of these. I've got 3R plus 72 is equal to 180. And I use the 3R because if I use a P, I wouldn't be able to solve it because there'd be 2 different letters. So it's better that I have the same letter. 3R plus R is 4R plus 72 is 180. Just need to solve this. R is being multiplied by 4, adding 72. So we need to take away 72 first. 4R is equal to 180, take away 72 is 108. Divide that by 4, so half of 108 is 54, and half of 54 is 27. So I know that is 27 and this is 3r. That's what I'm trying to find. So 3r is equal to 27 multiplied by 3. It'd be 27, 54 and 81. So it'd be 81 degrees. And one way you could check this, if you do 81 add 72 add 27, it should add up to 180. That's the end of the questions for today. I'd recommend you go through all of the questions, write down the topics that you struggle with before you attempt another past paper. Feel free to contact me or reach out if you need any help with anything. Otherwise, you can check out my channel for other walkthroughs, including the ones from this year's set. I'll see you soon.